What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Dogecoin today. Shout out to how do you say it? Upperculum Audio. Shout out to you for the request. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it. Okay, let's talk about the price action. So, Dogecoin here. It's been, I want to say, less than a month since we talked about it last. And here we are at about $0.9045, which is about 9 cents there. 9 hours, 58 minutes left in the day. Consolidating, moving sideways since the beginning of February. Does that sound familiar? Because I think most cryptos have been doing that. At least Bitcoin, Solana, Ethereum, XRP, all the major cryptos, they've been kind of moving sideways over the past couple months now. I do believe that Dogecoin look. I do believe that Dogecoin in this phase looks like it's in a descending triangle, which is not friendly. That does bode kind of bad for the price action. However, I do believe that we can prevail, that we can move to the upside, and that sometimes these descending triangles do not prevail to the downside. Sometimes they do break out to the upside. It's not a 100% guarantee. We look at this here, you kind of have a descending structure with the flat base there, and you still prevail to the upside. So it's just, it depends on the situation. Let's see. It's not really the same here. You kind of had a flat base, but I'm not going to make that conclusion there. Here you had one, and it worked out to the downside, but then you moved up. I'm not going to go over all the history, but just a couple examples there where I guess it can happen either way. It's more likely to happen in a bearish environment, which we certainly are in a bearish environment. I'm not under the impression that Dogecoin is going to drop too much lower, though, personally. I don't really see that happening. Just because I don't see that happening doesn't mean it can't happen, but we are at a massive discount here at about 9 cents, and really throughout this whole range, I've said that anytime we're below 10 cents, it's an ideal time to buy Dogecoin. So I stand by that. I think that even if we are to move lower, it's still a very ideal time to buy right now in the history of things. Dogecoin is one of the few cryptos, like literally one of the few cryptos that I believe will be here for generations to come. It's not just this one cycle and then it's over. Dogecoin builds a lot of doubt, builds a lot of shade and people fading it, and then once it's at maximum capacity, that's whenever it rips to the upside and tears their faces off. That's literally how it's been its whole entire life. I remember Dogecoin from, I guess we don't have the entire history here, but I remember Dogecoin from back in its early days, whenever me and everybody else was fading it, and then it still pumped like crazy. I mean, it had all these crazy monkey pumps even before Elon, but this was definitely the granddaddy pump of it all. Whenever Elon started talking about it. And I think Dogecoin, as the OG meme coin that's ever existed in human history for cryptocurrency, I think it's got its place cemented eternally as a significant, substantial crypto. So I do believe that this will continue to grow over time. It's also more economically feasible than the US dollar. Like than most hard currency, hard assets, it's actually better tokenomically, economically speaking. There's no max supply cap. It's going to be inflationary forever. Yeah, but the rate of inflation is deflationary, which is interesting. And it's mandatory. It can't be. It can be adjusted, I guess, if you have a bunch of Dogecoin validators and developers like change it up. But who would want to do that? Who would want to ruin a good thing? It's on a path where its rate of inflation will be less than the U.S. dollar and less than any world currency in the future. It's inevitable. And then the fact that it's inflationary enables it to be spent more and not just like held as like a store of value, which can give it some practical use cases. Like there's some positives to not having a cap. Anyways, looking at this here, and there will be ebbs and flows because of it. But looking at this here, I do believe that from a 9 cent price here in time, might be a year, might be 3 years, but in time, I do believe we will see a $4 Dogecoin. I do believe that's going to happen. And from the current price, it's about a 43x. So if you're asking me, is it a good time to buy Dogecoin? My answer is obviously it's a good time to buy Dogecoin. It's a great time to buy if your perspective is that of the long term. Now, if you're trying to buy and catch a quick move, I don't know. We can get into the short-term stuff. We'll talk about that here in a second. But I really do think that Dogecoin, if we're looking at it since April of 2021, here we are 5 years later. Throughout this whole range, you are at the lower limits. I mean, really, the whole range is encapsulated by this Fibonacci retracement from a high to a low. The way this works, these numbers aren't just random numbers. First off, they're related by the way of the Fibonacci ratios, the Fibonacci sequence, and the 0.5 is technically not a Fibonacci, but it is the halfway point. They're percentages. Their percentages is what they are. So this is 23.6% of the range. This is 100% of the range. That's why it's a 1. This is 127.2% of the range, right? That's what it is. This is 0%. So from a high to a low, you're at 0% of a retracement. 236, that's 23.6%. I digress. All I'm trying to say is that you're below the 236. You're in the lower quadrant of this retracement. It is a great time to buy. It's the most optimal time to buy is below this red line. It's hard to identify whenever you're at these early stages because you don't know if this is the low. You don't know if you're going to go lower. And back here, I did think we were going to go lower. But now it's kind of easier to identify. I think it's safe to assume that we're not going to go below these lows that we've been holding up for years now, for cycles now. Looking at this on the short term, looking at the 1 hour time frame. So again, just to reiterate, it's a phenomenal opportunity to buy here. And not to mention Dogecoin's moved down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months red in a row. This might be the 7th. We don't really see that many red months. I'm kind of curious. I want to get into the short term stuff. Yeah, maybe we don't go over that, but we'll go over the short term stuff. I mean, as far as Binance is concerned, we've never seen this long of a red streak in Dogecoin's history. But I don't know. I don't have the all-time history here. Looking at this on the 1 hour time frame, we're getting a little bit of volume here at the lows, right? Pumping up the price. Not so much volume on the drops. It's kind of nice to see. Looking at this on the 1 hour, we've got a volatile RSI. We know it's volatile because you're going from overbought to oversold to overbought to oversold. It's very volatile. We'll probably move up to the overbought zone here pretty soon. Sorry, guys. Hold on. The stochastics are reset at the oversold area. You could move a little bit lower. The MACD here is crossing red. It's kind of weird price action or a weird action on the MACD, but we could move a little bit lower. But I do think a move up is coming here pretty soon. I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we BART out of this and we move up to we're at 9 cents now, maybe like 9.3 or higher. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we moved up to these highs and above, which is not a large move. I mean, how much of a move is that? Yeah, we're talking about like a 4% move. 4 hour time frame. That's just what we can see on the 1 hour. 4 hour time frame, that kind of makes sense, right? To move back up to these areas that we've been finding resistance, maybe get a lower high as we've been getting, something like that, right? Still holding this area. There is a scenario where we could break out to the downside. If we do break out to the downside, what I'm going to do is call the bluff. I don't think that any breakout, I don't think any lower price action is going to be substantiated. I think it'll stop dead in its tracks and will likely come back with a vengeance. That doesn't have to happen. That's not the forecast. I'm just saying if it does happen, that's what it would be. From here, I'm honestly thinking that we do just move up, but it's hard to say because we're just choppy and sideways. Anytime you're in this environment, your indicators become less reliable, everything's less reliable. So we're going to look at the daily time frame and skip over the 4 hour. Looking at this on the daily, still choppy and sideways, very neutral readings, kind of bearish readings on the stochastics, bearish readings on the MACD as well, but they have less weight when you're in this choppy sideways environment. Typically with these type of environments, you will see a sudden shift one way or the other. And again, if we get that sudden shift to the downside, I would assume it's a fake out and we'll probably rally back to the upside here in a matter of no time at all. But let's pretend I'm wrong for a second. Let's entertain the thought of what it would mean to go lower. If we do go lower, we're at 9 cents now. 7.63 cents is a very viable option for the price. Very, very viable option. Even though it's viable and even though it's completely possible, I stand by it whenever I say 9 cents is a great time to buy historically for Doge. This is a great area to buy Dogecoin. 7.6 cents is great, and if we go lower, which I doubt we would go below 7.6 cents, it could happen, but if we do, 6 cents maybe to 3.2 cents even could be a possible outcome. It is possible. Maybe not 3.2, let's say maybe like 4.2 cents. 4.20, right? Something like that. Just below this 2272, that's pretty common to wick just below that level there. So We could see that. But that's far off, and I don't see that happening here for a lot of reasons, but mainly I think that crypto is about to shift up, gear up for April, not down. So I'm assuming that Dogecoin will catch wind of that and will probably move up as well. We look at the weekly time frame. You've skimmed the oversold zone. These are some of the lowest readings you've seen since your bear market low in 2022. You know, that's like the environment that we're in right now. Stochastics have been oversold for a long time. They can be oversold forever. There's no rule against it, but you got to assume, you know, being oversold this long. I mean, when have we been oversold this long? Oh, last time was the bear market low. So I'm just running with some thoughts there. And off that low, we saw in like 2 weeks time, not 2 weeks from the low, but like once we did move up, it was 178% move, just like that. So my thoughts are Dogecoin is on the precipice of seeing a shift to the upside. Okay, we're flipping green here on the MACD. When we flipped green here, did we pump? No, we pumped up a little bit this week, 18%, which was nice, but it took months before we actually saw the significant move. I do think that we're going to see some type of retracement overall. We look at this for what it's worth from a high to a low here, and we do a little ABC maneuver. For those of you that know, this would be your ABC. You take that and put it at the high. Look at that. I mean, it matches up perfectly. This is a perfect ABC correction right there, and because of that and various other things we said on this video, I believe that we're at a low point, not a drop, not a point before a descent, but at a low point. I can be wrong, and I've given you the targets if I am wrong. I would think we'd have a hard time getting below 7.6 cents, but even if we do go below there are possible lower targets. I just don't think that that if we are to go lower, I don't think that would happen now. I think that we need some retracement. I think that we need some consolidation like this, and then we can move down. But we don't even have that, right? All we have is this little pipsqueak of a descending triangle. I think we deserve, and not just deserve, but are due for a, I guess it's the same thing, due, deserve, for some upside, for a retracement from a high to a low. The minimum expectation from here would be the 382. It's about a 76% move, prior resistance, prior support, and the maximum might be the golden ratio. And we could rip all the way up to 24, 27 cents like that. It could take 1 week, and then we slowly whittle our way back down here and even see lower lows. But I don't know. You know, at this kind of formation, if we got up here, there's a chance that we're forming some type of inverse head and shoulders. You know, like that could be the case there. The ovaries of truth and prosperity here. But that's just what it looks like to me. Like, I don't know, whenever I draw it that way. Anyways, all I'm trying to say here, guys, is I do think we're going to move up higher. Minimum target would be about 16 cents. Maximum target might be 27.7 cents. If we move lower, 7.6 cents would be a likely target area to bounce from. I doubt we'd go lower, but it is possible to go lower too. I got nothing else. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Don't be surprised when you wake up one day and Dogecoin's pressing 20 cents or at least 15 cents. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later.